Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Yapping Artist podcast. And I am Lynn. I am the Yapping Artist, and this is the very first episode of this podcast. I have been wanting to do a podcast since forever. I feel like I often don't get to talk about all of the things that I think in my head long enough whenever I do short form content or even when I do long form content. For some reason, whenever I start recording something, my brain just, stops working and then I only say half of the stuff I want to talk about. So here we are, and this is actually, I'm just gonna try this out. I have never recorded a podcast or anything. Um, I don't have any really professional equipment except my mic, but the setup is still not very professional, so I'm really sorry about that. I feel like everything has to start some way, and yeah, this is how I will start this podcast, and we'll see how many episodes we get to do. So yeah, let's just give this a try, and I hope you will join me on this little adventure, and let's get into it. I don't even have like a fun jingle or anything. You just gotta live with what I have, which is nothing. Ideally, this is gonna happen weekly, and I thought about that we could just do this as like my weekly recap, or also not only my weekly recap, but also what this week is gonna still entail for me. And we're just gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the artsy. And so I think without further ado, we will start with the good. This week, the good was actually meeting my friends. I met my friend Eva and we had a little productive meetup where we edited some videos and had fun chit-chatting. Her boyfriend came by too, and my boyfriend came by too at a later point. And then we actually also went to Eva's place. She has cute, adorable kittens. They're so tiny. Let me tell you. She has like there's this tiny boy and this even tinier girl cat, and they're so adorable. I'm in love with them. I mean, I also love the older cat Eva has. I feel like the older cat Pippin looks exactly like the younger cat's older brother, even though they're not related. And then the girl is actually related to the younger cat, to Milo. Um, but she's so tiny and she has like these tiny little legs, but she's very food motivated. I can relate. And she eats so much. She has this round little belly. It's so cute. And whenever I'm there, I'm really happy. But the only thing is, I always have to be so careful not to like step on them because they're still so tiny and unpredictable. Sometimes I'm sitting there with Eva because Eva and I were working. I'm cutting a video. Eva is also cutting a video or working on her website, and then it can happen that one of the kittens is just lying conveniently next to my. So whenever I want to move or like roll around, I have to be extra careful at the moment because there could be a little kitten lying right next to a wheel of it. So but that was definitely one of the fun things I did this week. Another thing that I really enjoyed was meeting my siblings and going out for breakfast with them. That was actually very funny on Sunday. I had to wake up very early for that. It was supposed to be a brunch, but because it couldn't be arranged otherwise, it was actually more of a breakfast and started at 9 a.m. And which brunch starts at 9 a.m.? That's just breakfast. But it was still nice. I had to wake up pretty early for that because I had to leave around 8 for that, and on a Sunday. And currently, for those who don't know, currently I'm not employed. And So I'm not too used to rising up that early. Maybe I should get back into the habit of rising early. I feel like I haven't properly done that though since I went to uni. For some reason, even when I was working, the good thing was I could start at 9:30 and I could do home office, and I would just, wake up at 9:30 and be in the home office. So it's been like, I feel like 4 years of me not rising early at all. So I feel like I have like some problems getting back into the habit of doing that. But I remember when I was still in school, I sometimes woke up at 6 a.m. with no problem. I mean, I also went to bed a little bit earlier around that time, but I'm not even sure if I went to bed really a lot earlier than I'm going to bed at the moment. I'm having a really bad habit going to bed around 1 a.m., 1:30, but I'm not sleeping at 1:30. I'm still looking at my phone. I know it's a very bad practice. You shouldn't use your phone before you go to sleep. What can I say? I'm just a human. But I remember the times when I was at school still, actually, like at high school. Um, I was up until 1 a.m. too, back then. I was up at 1 a.m. um watching anime. That was like my thing. I was like watching anime until 1:30 a.m. And my mom didn't know about it, of course, because she she thought I was sleeping and she was already sleeping, but who knew it was my brother? He was very mad at me. He was like always so mad because he was like, why can I, like, why can Lynn stay up that long and watch anime? And I'm like, shut up. Don't rat me out. He's still talking about that to this day, and my little sister too. Like both of them, the little snitches, they're still like talking about how I stayed up way longer watching shows while it was school time. But I feel like that's a thing I've done for the longest time. But back then I still could rise up early because I had to, but currently I don't have to rise up early. So whenever something is early, I'm like, oh my god, please no. But it's okay. This Sunday I managed to rise up early. It was very fun. We had a very nice time having good breakfast. The breakfast was pretty decent, but the only thing that was absolutely disgusting was the matcha latte I ordered. So I'm relatively like, I do like matcha latte. Actually, I do like it a lot, but I'm not like a really connoisseur. Like I'm not like a matcha snob. Like as I'm also not a coffee snob. I like, if there's coffee in front of me with some milk in it, I will drink it. If there's matcha latte, I will drink it, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. That tasted well. But this one was so bad. I was like, I barely ever, like, I actually would never think to put sugar into my matcha latte because I kind of like it like that. But that one at that restaurant, it was so bad. It was so bitter. It it tasted disgusting. It was actually disgusting. I was so sad. I had to get the sugar packet that my brother got for his coffee and put it in my matcha latte to make it make it bearable. And I was still thinking about asking for another packet of sugar because the my brother's girlfriend, she had like really good hot chocolate, and my sister also ordered that hot chocolate because she was inspired by that. And I was so jealous. It tasted so good. I was like, no, why did I not order like something like a coffee or a hot chocolate or anything? But then I had this disgusting matcha latte with me. But you learn. Um, it's apparently an art to make good matcha. I was never of that opinion before. I was like, it's gonna taste good, so it's gonna taste fine no matter what, but apparently no. I mean, I guess yeah, you can also ruin coffee sometimes, but I'm very non-picky about it. I know people who are like really picky about their coffee, and everything they drink. Maybe there's people who are picky about their tea, but honestly, for me, of the most time, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. Maybe that says more about my taste buds than about anything else. That my taste buds are like that, like numb to see and not, taste the intricate differences of, of coffee and stuff. But I'm pretty happy with how I've been doing my tasting so far. But it also can happen to me that something absolutely doesn't taste well for me. Oh, talking about coffee reminds me of my colleague when I used to work at the pharmacy. He was like such a coffee snob too. He would never like drink coffee with milk or sugar at all. And I'm like, I mean, sometimes that's something I actually do, drink my coffee without sugar or milk, but that's when I'm really desperate to wake up. That's when I'm really desperate to stay awake, because I feel like whenever I put sugar in my coffee, it takes away from the awakeness, because you get the sugar crash, right? And also milk, same thing. It kind of makes you a little bit more sleepy afterwards, or a little bit more drowsy. So when I'm really in desperate need of caffeine and in desperate need of being awake, I sometimes actually also drink the coffee without sugar and oat milk. But most of the time it's more of like a, an enjoyment thing for me. I just wanna, have something fun to drink and not torture myself with the bitterness of it all. But what I also learned is that the more you do that, the more you drink it without coffee and sugar, the more you drink it without sugar and milk, the more you get actually used to it. So yeah, that was the funny thing once with my stepdad, because he's also one of those guys who has like a really fancy coffee machine and, likes his coffee well made and stuff. And he made like his little espresso, and he put in a cube of sugar, and I said, because I thought, wait, why would he put a cube of sugar into his espresso? Isn't he a guy like this? Isn't he one of those guys who only likes their coffee like black and like without anything in it? And I was like, oh, you're putting sugar in it? I was surprised. I was like, oh, I thought you in my mind he was one of those people who would not enjoy a coffee with sugar in it. And then he took it the other way. He took it like I'm telling him he's not allowed to put sugar in it. He was like, that's only 1 cube of sugar. I barely ever eat anything with sugar anyways. Why can I not put a cube of sugar in it? And I was like, oh no, that's not what I meant at all. But yeah, he was definitely a little bit offended at that moment. But it was just not meant at that. I was just, in my mind, it was just like, oh, wait, you take sugar in your coffee? Yeah, let me know how you take your coffee or tea too. But we definitely went off topic. I had a very nice brunch apart from the matcha latte. But it was very early, and I rose up very early, and to be honest, I was awake very late. I've currently been binge watching 911, the show about firefighters and first responders. And so that's why I also stay up really late at the moment, because sometimes, okay, it's a hellish circle, not gonna lie. I'm like, it's like whenever it's like around 11 p.m., I'm like, okay, I should slowly start getting to go to bed, because I have this problem of not going to bed early enough. And then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna, wind down. Maybe I start watching an episode. I don't know, see if the cats need anything else. Um, Maybe even draw a little bit. And while I draw, I watch an episode. But I watch one episode, and I watch 2 episodes, and then I watch 3 episodes, and then I lay in my bed with my laptop like this. I lay like this, and my laptop is like put up like this, and I keep watching. and that's really bad. And it has come to the thing that I'm now at season 8, in the middle of season 8, I feel like. And I've started watching the show, I think 2 months ago or something like that, or 1 month, this month, maybe. Oh, I think, no, wait, this is July. Maybe I started last month, I started in June, and this show has 9 seasons, and I'm currently already at season 8. But currently, I'm at an episode where I know that something really bad is gonna happen because I got spoiled. Of course, I got spoiled. You cannot watch a show that has been out for like years and then not get spoiled. I immediately got spoiled about this one person, and so I am currently at that episode where I know that bad thing is gonna happen, and I just don't want to watch. I'm not prepared. I cannot watch it. But also I feel like if I will not watch this episode, I will stop watching the show, and I don't want to stop watching the show because apparently this fall there's gonna be a new season out, so I gotta catch up until that. Yeah, where was I? So yeah, Sunday. Sorry. See, that's why I was like, I need a podcast where I could just yap, because I tend to go on yapping sprees. Um, and Sunday was nice, but then I was really tired when all of the breakfast thing was over, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go home and see what I can do. Maybe I can do some art. Maybe I can do, whatever productive thing I could do. No. No, I couldn't. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take a small little nap, and I slept so long. I'm not sure when I got home from the breakfast. I think it was like around 12, and then I had to be somewhere else at 4 p.m. Initially, it would have been at 3 p.m., but then a bunch of people were like, okay, we could move it to 4 p.m. because a few people cannot come earlier anyways. So we pushed it to 4 p.m. and I was like, okay, nice. Then I could lay down a little bit, and I really slept until 3:30 p.m., I feel like, and then barely got up and went to the other meeting. Yeah, it was kind of a meeting. It was like, for those who don't know, I have been part of a local art exhibition here in this area, and that was so much fun. It was in June, and it was just like a lot of local artists. I feel like we were like about 10 artists that put up like a group exhibition in the area. It was not only in one place, but in a few different places around the street, so people could walk around and look at everything, and it was really fun. And it was my first time being part of this. This group exhibition was a thing since last 2 years. So, I mean, I think this year was the third time, and at the first 2 years, I was like, oh my god, I kind of want to be part of this. And this year, I finally said, hey, can I be part of this? And they were so kind and nice, and welcomed me with open arms. I actually also took part in the organizing in a way, because suddenly their graphic designer got sick, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I can help you with the graphic design that needed to be done, which was also very fun. I had a blast, and that was this June, and it was a really nice experience, and the people that put all of this together are really nice and really forthcoming, and I definitely felt at home. I mean, I was, I think, one of the youngest of the group, so I also felt like a little bit intimidated, but they were actually quite nice. So, and on Sunday we had this little meet up again to, talk about how we liked the exhibition, what we would do better next time, if we still want to be part of it next time, and what we could do to improve it, and what kind of ideas we have for the next time. And it was actually such a nice time sitting with all these people, with these nice little group, and it was fun to get to know them a little bit more. The only thing that now is happening is that I actually know people from around here. I've been living in this area kind of like a long time now, not gonna lie. Wait, how long have I been living here? It must be about 8 years. No, longer. It must be about 11 years actually. And I'm really bad. I'm a really apparently an asocial person because I never really got to know the people that live here. I don't really know any of my neighbors, but now I kind of know a few, and now it happens that I'm seeing a few of the neighbors a lot because now I recognize them and they recognize me, and I'm like, oh my god, now I have to actually, not be embarrassing and or everything. Sometimes the way I went to the supermarket, not really in a nice getup or stuff. I'm like, okay, maybe now I have to be careful that um people don't like see me in an embarrassing way. And that's kind of funny because for the past years this area was still like a city vibe for me, but now it's more like a village in a way. Now it's way more, I know more people here. Such a weird feeling. It's not a bad feeling. I actually quite like it. But I feel also really shy with actually getting to know the people more and on a deeper level. I mean, that's most of the time things I have a problem with is actually getting to know people. For some reason, that is something where I get to know people and I think I do have a nice time with them, and I feel like I talk to them on nicely, but to actually get close to people, that's kind of difficult for me often. So to actually let also people in is also something I struggle a little bit with that. Also for this group, I'm the youngest, as I said, and I feel like there's still like a little bit of a difference in experience that is noticeable for me at least. Or maybe I just feel so young spirited. I feel like, I mean, sometimes I do. So I am actually, sometimes I do feel younger than I am. Currently, I'm 29. Can you believe that? But sometimes I don't really feel 29. I feel like there's this funny thing that me and one of my friends talked about, that actually I am on the cusp of being between Gen Z and millennials. Like I'm born 1979, which is apparently exactly in the middle of millennials and Gen Z. And I often feel closer to Gen Z people, or like memes and things and happenings. But then I have a friend of mine who is actually a year younger than me, who's actually Gen Z, who feels way closer to millennials. And I feel like since that's really funny because I was at her home and she has like a cup where in Spanish it was written, "I'm such a fucking millennial." And I'm like, wait a minute, you're not a millennial. You're not a millennial. She was like, yeah, but I feel like one. So I often feel a little bit younger than I am. And so when it comes to interacting with people who are older than me, I feel like that's even more of an age gap then, which it actually isn't that bad. Whatever, I really enjoyed the meeting we had. And it was fun getting to know the people that are living around me, that are my neighbors. And know their stories a little bit more. It's definitely something I want to get back into and see if I can get to know people a little bit more again. Would be fun. But also it really made me excited for next year, for being part of this group exhibition again. It kind of motivated me a little bit more again to paint, and that was really fun. I wanted to upload a video on Sunday. I didn't get to upload the YouTube video on Sunday, as you saw, because I uploaded it on Monday, because I was supposed to do it on Sunday, but on Sunday there was this meeting, and then I was like drinking a little bit over there, and it got later than I expected it to be, and then I was like, okay, I cannot upload the video today. It was so nice. I stayed longer than I was expecting to stay there. And I drank a little bit more alcohol than I was expecting to drink, and then I was like, okay, no, I cannot upload the YouTube video today. I will do it tomorrow, which I did. Now I actually hopefully gonna have a schedule where I upload a proper artist YouTube vlog video on Sunday and a podcast episode on Wednesday. Well, for now, that's all for the good, kind of. Let's go to the bad. The bad this weekend, or this weekend, I don't know, there was nothing bad this weekend, but this week, there was something really bad happening. It was not that bad, but it was very scary. I was about to hop into the shower. I had the shower on. I was ready to go. And I was in the shower. I was like, oh my God, finally, I'm doing some self-care. Suddenly, I see a huge spider on the shower curtain. The scream, I scrumped. I was like, ah! The thing is, I don't really have like a fear of spiders. I can deal with them okay-ish. But it's just still a different feeling when you're in the shower and you want to have like a relaxing shower. But then there's suddenly a spider that is this big, And I screamed. The spider probably screamed too. I didn't hear her. I didn't hear. The spider probably screamed too because she was like scrambling behind the shower curtain. But thankfully enough, okay, wait, I don't have it with me. But thankfully enough, one of my roommates, I had a roommate once, and she has a real fear of spiders. Like, yeah, she actually has arachnophobia, and she when she moved here, her dad gifted her this device that you can capture insect and spiders with. I will get it to you. I will show you. Wait a second. Yeah, this is the thing that my friend brought with her when she was living here, and then she left it here, and I'm actually so thankful for that because I have like a lots of encounters with like bugs and stuff around here, and it's just this device where you can move the floor, so you can capture like a little insect and then be like, okay, and capture it inside and then put it outside if you captured it successfully. And that's what I did. I ran naked out of the shower. I ran to get this and like scoop in the little spider. The spider kind of like got one of her leggies stuck here, and I didn't want that, of course, so I put it down a little bit further again. Then she's nearly scrambled out, so I had to kind of hold her in here, and I didn't crush her, but I felt really bad. I was like, okay, I don't want to crush you, please, girl, just stay inside. You're gonna go outside and live a better life outside, please trust me. That was a bad encounter. I think we were both scared. Also, one of the bad things this week was kind of, I had like a really big episode of depression. I felt like, I don't know, I feel like I'm currently at a point where I have been out of work for so long that I really truly don't have like a routine, and I kind of want to do an art routine where I focus heavily on art, but also I don't really, it feels like so much work and it feels like so much to do. And I feel like that really pulled me down a little bit the last week. It's a little bit better now, still having to fight it a little bit, but thankfully me and Eva talked, and we were both like, oh my God, I kind of feel like demotivated, but I kind of also want to work on YouTube videos again. And so we decided to link up and be like, okay, let's do this together again and meet for being productive. And that was actually really fun and nice. And I'm thankful to having friends. Friends are actually so important, and also family. If you feel like you're not doing well, I highly recommend to reach out to your friends and to your family. Another bad thing that kind of happened, I mean, it's on one hand, it's a good thing. On the other hand, it's a bad thing. It's a bittersweet thing that happened. There's this one convention here that I always apply for and I never get in. And this year I also applied for it. But to be honest, this is all my fault actually. I never really, when I applied for it, I never really looked on the date of it. I was just like, of course I'm gonna apply for this convention. I applied for it, not thinking about anything, but also I booked a vacation and at exactly that date without checking my calendar. I mean, to be honest, I didn't put the convention in my calendar, so maybe that's the thing, because I don't even know which happened first, the application to the convention or booking the vacation. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you which one was first, but let's just say on both parts I didn't pay attention. I was like, yeah, for sure I'm gonna do that. Yeah, for sure I'm gonna do that. I didn't get into the convention at first, but I wrote them, yeah, please can you put me on the waiting list, not thinking that I would actually get in, but also putting, but also hope, seeing what my chances are, but also thinking, yeah, maybe I actually get in. Yesterday, I get an email. I'm like, hey, there's tables. Um, we got a table for you. And I was like, and at first I was like, oh my God, really? I was so excited. I was like, okay, when is it? Because I didn't know how much time I have left to prepare. I look at the date and it's exactly the date where I'm on vacation. I am so sad. I was so mad and sad yesterday because I couldn't believe that finally I got into that convention, but I cannot do it still because everything for the vacation is already booked, the the apartment and everything, because everything for the vacation is already booked. I cannot just not go. We just recently booked the train rides there, and I was so mad at myself, for not having the right for not having all of my dates in order, for doing that. It's only my fault, because if I maybe would have paid a little bit more attention, I would have been like, no, I cannot go on vacation, that there's this convention on that date. Even if I didn't know at that point if I would even make it into the convention, even if at that point I didn't even apply. It's just really bad planning on my part. And that was kind of really, that kind of really killed my mood yesterday again. I was so mad and so sad. I was like, that cannot be real. That finally I get into this convention I've been wanting to get in for years, and I cannot do it because of a stupid mistake I made. Sadly, it happens. I've not gotten over it, but I have now, resigned myself to that. That's just how it is at the moment. What I learned from that is that I will, um, start using my calendar more and also putting in the dates of the conventions I want to go to into my calendar. It's just a little unlucky, especially this year, because I also missed applying to a different con that I usually always go to, and I didn't apply for it right on time. To be honest, the way they opened their artist application was a little bit weird. They didn't really say when it was gonna close, and then they just closed it like 2 weeks after opening them, and that's something they usually don't do it like that. So I messed that up too because I didn't apply fast enough. But it's also kind of sad that that's a convention I would usually always go to, but might not go to this year. They said they're gonna open the application in summer again, and now it's summer. We have half of July. It's July is in full swing, and now I'm like, you gotta open them again. I'm very tempted to write them and see if they're gonna open the applications for real again, because it would be really sad not to go to that convention. Yeah. That was kind of like the bad stuff that happened this week, but it's okay. It's okay. It happens, and I'm still gonna be angry about it a little bit now, but today I'm already a lot more mellow about it already. And tomorrow I might be hopefully over it and not think about it too much. I think there's one thing that there's this one video I saw where somebody said that one superpower that you can have, that you should have, is to let things go. And I'm kind of trying to practice that at the moment. I'm like, I'm gonna let it go so it doesn't fester and I don't keep thinking about it the whole time and be like angry about it. Yeah. Let's now go to the artsy. So this week I actually started to work on a new painting. Yippee! Please, everyone has to applaud for me to that. With starting, I mean I actually put down one color. I made a nice yellow background, but it is better than nothing, right? I started a new painting. I'm actually kind of excited to continue it. But also, whenever I start a new painting, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna work on this every day. And then the next day, I don't work on it. And then I let it sit for like a week until I start working on it again. I started working on it on Friday. So, yeah, it's been a few days since I didn't work on it again. It's okay though. I kind of like it. I'm still very excited about it. But also, I have so much new art supplies that I got that I actually also kind of want to work on like more smaller stuff on these little canvases. And I got these water-based oils that I kind of work with. One of the artists from the artist meetup also told me she didn't really like the water-based oils that much, and I could have hers if I liked them. And I was like, maybe. I mean, I haven't tried it yet, so we will see. And then this is a little sneak peek only you guys are getting. I am currently working on this painting-ish. It's gonna be a painting, right? I mean, I'm gonna use oil pastels on it, I think. So yeah, but I'm working on this unicorn. This is supposed to be the first print for my snail mail club that I want to do. It's a secret yet. It's not, it's still a secret. I haven't really talked about it anywhere yet. So keep it. But yeah, I kind of would want to do that. But other than that, I really didn't do much art this week because of the depressive episode. Also, I've been really bad procrastinating, and whenever I'm finally at a point where I want to do something during the day, it's like, okay, should I edit the video? Should I edit videos? Should I record videos? Or should I do art? And most of the time it goes to editing videos. But maybe I should just, do a little bit art, a little bit more art. A little bit more art would be good, unless this is not gonna be an yapping artist podcast, but just a yapping person podcast. Well, that was it for my yapping session. I really hope I don't know, you enjoyed it. I feel like I actually got everything out for today. I will see you next week. I hope you liked this. Let me know what you thought about the first episode of the Yapping Artist. I maybe should do this with more fanfare and more, ta-da, it's a new podcast, but I kind of want to keep it low-key because I don't really know how else to do it at the moment. But yeah, let me know what you thought. Tell me your opinion on sugar in tea, coffee, or matcha. And if you also did some art, let me know what you did. And also let me know about your good, bad, and artsy. Bye bye.